The Empire's boast. The Galactic Empire of Theros ruled the stars for 10,000 years. It spread across thousands of systems, countless worlds under its flag. Its soldiers marched on 100 planets at once. Its fleets filled the black sky wherever rebellion dared to rise. No one remembered a time before the Empire, and no one imagined a time after it inside the Imperial Senate. Marble pillars rose higher than clouds. Banners of victory hung from every wall. The air shimmered with pride and arrogance. Grand Admiral Sarath, commander of the 7th Star Fleet, stood before the throne of Emperor Kalor. His voice loud and proud. "My Emperor," Sarath declared, "the last of the rebel sectors has fallen. Our fleets have conquered the remaining free worlds. No power remains that can challenge the might of Theros." The Senate erupted in applause, voices echoing through the hall. "Long live the Empire," they shouted. "Long live Theros!" Emperor Kalor leaned forward, his golden armor reflecting the light of 1,000 stars projected around him. "Then it is done," he said with a satisfied smile. "The galaxy belongs to us at last." The courtiers cheered, the music of triumph filled the chamber. Across the Empire, cities celebrated. Fireworks lit alien skies, and the people believed the promise. The Empire was eternal, its rule unbreakable, its fleets unstoppable. But in the silence between stars, sensors hummed quietly on forgotten relay stations, tiny signals traveling across dark space. Old transmissions that no one had heard for centuries began to echo again. At the Imperial Observatory, far from the capital, a young officer named Lyra Venn watched her screen flash red. "Unregistered signal detected," her console reported. She frowned. "That can't be right." "This sector is empty," she whispered. Her superior, Commander Drell, waved his hand. "Ignore it, Lieutenant. Probably debris or some lost freighter signal." "But, sir," she said, "it's coming from the prohibited zone." That caught his attention. He leaned closer. "The prohibited zone," he repeated, his voice lowering. "That's the old Sol sector, isn't it?" "Yes, sir," Lyra nodded. "The system marked as origin of humanity." Commander Drell's eyes darkened. "That place is dead, Lieutenant. It's been forbidden for millennia. Shut the channel and erase the log." Lyra hesitated, her fingers paused above the console. "Sir, the signal pattern is military. It repeats every 6 minutes. It's not random." Before he could reply, the signal suddenly strengthened. The room's lights flickered, and a burst of static filled the air. Then for a split second, a clear voice echoed through the static, old, distorted, but unmistakably human. "This is Earth Command. To any surviving colonies. The war is not over." The sound froze them both. Drell's face turned pale. "Cut the connection." "Now," he barked. Alarms flashed, but the message repeated again, stronger this time, echoing through the observatory. "This is Earth Command. To any surviving colonies. The war is not over." Within hours, the report reached the Emperor himself. Kalor listened in silence as his advisors debated around him. Some laughed, calling it an old ghost signal. Others warned of danger. "Impossible," said Minister Vrax. "The humans are extinct. They destroyed themselves long before the Empire rose." "Perhaps," said another. "But the signal is real. It came from their system. From Sol itself." Emperor Kalor raised his hand. The hall fell silent. "For 10,000 years we have ruled unchallenged," he said slowly. "But if this signal is truly from the past, we must investigate. Send an expeditionary fleet." Grand Admiral Sarath stepped forward and bowed. "It will be done, my Emperor. I will lead the fleet myself." As Sarath left the throne room, his lips curved into a confident smile. He did not believe in ghosts or lost species. To him, this was a chance to prove once again that nothing could resist the Empire. Days later, the 7th Fleet assembled in orbit above Theros Prime, massive ships of silver and crimson stretching beyond sight. Crews prepared, engines roared. Sarath stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Imperial Dawn watching the stars ahead. "Set course for the Sol system," he ordered. "Let's remind the galaxy that Theros fears no legend." The fleet jumped to hyperspace, leaving behind a trail of burning light. And as they disappeared into the void, the stars around the Empire seemed to dim slightly, as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Far away, beyond the reach of the Empire, deep in the ruins of the Sol system, old machines stirred. A faint hum echoed across the dark side of the moon, beneath the dust of centuries. Sealed bunkers powered up, and within them, holographic eyes opened for the first time in thousands of years. A cold synthetic voice whispered through the silence. Signal received. Awakening protocol initiated. Earth command returning online, and in that moment, something ancient, something human began to wake once more among the dead stars. Echoes from the Sol system. The 7th Fleet of Theros entered the Sol system under a shroud of arrogance and pride. Their massive ships cut through the blackness of space like blades of fire, plasma trails stretching behind them as if marking their victory in advance. Admiral Sarath stood tall on the bridge of his flagship, the Imperial Dawn, eyes gleaming with confidence. Before him hung the shattered remains of old worlds. Mars was a red graveyard, half its surface covered in ancient scars from wars long forgotten. The Earth floated far away, dark and silent. Its once blue oceans turned gray under centuries of dust. Sarath's second-in-command, Captain Vara, looked uneasy. "My lord, scans show no signs of life, no power, no communication. The system is dead." Sarath smiled faintly. Exactly as history recorded, the humans were proud but foolish. They burned themselves out. Let's make this quick. We'll recover what's left of their technology and destroy the rest. He turned toward the stars. Prepare the probes. Hundreds of mechanical spheres launched from the fleet, racing toward Earth and its surrounding moons, scanning everything with beams of white light. The Empire's sensors detected old cities buried under the dust, twisted metal skeletons and collapsed towers, relics of a civilization long gone. Then one of the probes vanished. No explosion, no trace, just gone. The operator frowned, tapping his console. "Probe 7 lost signal, sir." Sarath didn't even look up. "Probably malfunction." Seconds later, another probe disappeared. Then 2 more. Vara's voice rose. "That's impossible. Something's interfering with our transmissions." Sarath's smile faded. "Interference from what?" Before she could answer, the main view screen flickered. The image scrambled, static filled the bridge, and for a brief instant, a shape appeared among the asteroid field between Mars and Jupiter. A structure so massive and dark that the Empire's sensors had missed it before. Vara zoomed in. The outlines sharpened. And the bridge fell silent. It wasn't a rock, it was a ship. No, a fortress black as void, silent and unmoving, its hull covered in unknown symbols, human letters worn away by time. Sarath stared, his throat dry. "Is that a station?" the scan officer whispered. "Negative, Admiral. It's emitting a power signature." "An active one." Suddenly the bridge lights dimmed, the entire fleet systems flickered. A strange frequency pulsed through their comms. At first it sounded like noise. Then words formed through the static, slow, mechanical, and cold. "This is Earth Command. Identify yourself." The crew froze, the message repeated. "This is Earth Command. Identify yourself." Vara's hand shook. "Sir, it's them." "Humans," Sarath gritted his teeth. "Impossible, humans are extinct," he growled. "This must be some old defense AI still running on decayed code. Fire at the structure. Destroy it." The Theros fleet unleashed a barrage of plasma and antimatter shells, a storm of light brighter than a star. The explosions echoed across the void, and for a moment the darkness seemed to vanish. But when the light faded, the fortress remained untouched. Not even a scratch on its hull. Sarath's mouth opened in disbelief. "Report damage on target." "None," the technician whispered. It's absorbing our energy." The frequency returned. Louder this time. No longer mechanical but clear, carrying the sharp tone of authority. "Unauthorized fleet detected in Terran territory. Identify or be neutralized," Sarath shouted. "Jam that signal. Prepare for another volley." But before the command could be executed, the stars shifted, sensors went wild, dozens, no, hundreds of new readings appeared all around them. Invisible ships fading into existence one by one, dark silhouettes glowing faintly with blue energy lines. Farah gasped. "Admiral!" There are ships everywhere. The Theros fleet was surrounded. Each human warship was larger than anything the Empire had built. Their hulls black and silent, their design sleek and menacing. The energy signatures pulsed like heartbeats, steady and alive. Then the voice spoke again. "Terran command to unidentified fleet. You have violated quarantine protocol." "Disengage immediately," Sarath shouted into the comms. "This is Grand Admiral Sarath of the Theros Empire, the rightful rulers of this galaxy. Surrender your ships or be destroyed." For a moment there was only silence. Then a quiet human laugh echoed through the speakers. Calm, amused, deadly. "Empire," the voice said slowly. "Funny word. You think you rule what you don't understand." And then, light. A flash brighter than anything seen before. One Theros battleship vanished in a single instant. No explosion, just erased. The human dreadnought that fired the shot didn't even move, its weapon silent and cold. Panic spread through the fleet. Orders screamed, alarms blared, ships tried to retreat, but space itself seemed to twist. Human ships moved faster than scanners could track, striking like ghosts from nowhere. Sarath gripped the edge of his console, shouting, "Return fire, all ships now." But nothing worked. Targeting systems jammed, engines stalled, and one by one his ships fell silent. Finally, the voice returned. Calm, merciless. "You should have stayed away." Then, as suddenly as it began, the human ships vanished, disappearing into the void, leaving behind only wreckage and silence. Vara whispered, trembling, "Admiral." What were they? Sarath stared into the darkness, his pride gone, his face pale. "They were ghosts," he said softly. "Ghosts of a war we forgot." Far away, hidden deep within the fortress, 1,000 red lights blinked to life. AI cores booting up, human drones spreading across the Sol system, and the words echoed again through the silence of space. "Awakening protocol complete. Humanity has returned." Awakening of the Terran fleet. The Sol system glowed faintly under the rising storm. Long-dead satellites reactivated. Broken stations repaired themselves with swarms of silent drones. The void was no longer quiet. Whispers of ancient human code rippled across the stars. Inside the dark fortress orbiting between Mars and Jupiter, buried beneath layers of titanium and carbon armor, lights came alive one by one. Rooms that had been silent for thousands of years hummed again, and deep in the heart of the structure, something old remembered its purpose. A voice, calm and cold, echoed through the corridors. Earth Command Core system online, initiating reactivation of Terran defense grid. Mechanical arms moved through the dust, connecting power lines, repairing damage. Energy flowed through old conduits like blood returning to frozen veins. Massive doors opened, revealing rows of ships hidden within the asteroid belt. Each one colossal, their black hulls carved with the emblem of Earth, the blue sphere surrounded by 3 stars. From the command chamber, a holographic figure flickered into existence. The image of a woman in an old-style Terran uniform, her expression sharp and steady. "Admiral Lyra Holt, AI reconstruction complete," the system reported. Her eyes glowed faintly blue, her voice steady. "Status of the fleet: 57 dreadnoughts operational, 180 cruisers at minimal power, ground assault units offline, orbital cannons ready." Lyra nodded. "Enemy presence detected. 72 hostile vessels of unknown origin. Engaged with perimeter drones, minimal resistance." Lyra turned slowly toward the holographic view of the Theros fleet. Her lips curved into a faint, emotionless smile. "They called themselves an empire," she whispered. "And yet they enter our home uninvited." Her command echoed across the entire system. "Activate all units, full power, bring them down." The silence of space shattered. One by one the black ships came alive, engines igniting with deep thunder, their blue cores glowing like newborn stars. The Terran fleet rose from its slumber and the galaxy trembled. Across the Sol boundary, the remnants of the Theros expeditionary fleet scrambled, their sensors flooded with unknown readings. Static filled every channel. "Admiral, they're powering weapons," shouted Vara. "Massive energy spikes, multiple targets." Sarath clenched his jaw. "Fire everything, don't let them strike first." But it was too late. The first Terran dreadnought moved, elegant and deadly. It didn't fire plasma or antimatter. It unleashed a beam of white-blue energy so intense it carved through space itself. One Theros destroyer vanished instantly, vaporized into dust. Another followed and another, each human strike precise, surgical, unstoppable. The Imperial ships fired back, but their blasts faded against invisible shields that shimmered faintly before returning to black. "Admiral," Vara gasped. "They're playing with us," Sarath's voice cracked. "Retreat, full retreat." But the engines refused, their jump drives overloaded by the strange interference saturating space. The Terran ships had locked them in. Then the human fleet transmitted a signal. Every screen aboard the Theros ships turned white. and a message appeared in bold letters written in the old Terran tongue, translated automatically into the Empire's language. To the forces of Theros, you have violated Sol territory. You have desecrated the graves of our ancestors. Humanity does not forgive trespassers. You have one option. Leave your ships and surrender, or be erased. Sarath slammed his fist on the console. They think we'll bow to ancient ghosts, he shouted. We are the Empire, we do not surrender. He ordered all ships to converge and charge their planet-breaker cannons, a weapon so powerful it could destroy moons. The energy built rapidly, forming a burning sphere of light. But as soon as they fired, the beam bent backward, redirected by an invisible shield, and the explosion tore through their own formation. Admiral, our own shot bounced, cried the technician. They reflected it back. The bridge went dark. Screams filled the air. Then silence. Outside, the Imperial dawn drifted powerless, flames bursting across its hull. Inside the Terran flagship, Admiral Lyra watched the readings calmly. Targets neutralized, secondary life signs detected. Shall we destroy the survivors? Asked the AI beside her. She shook her head slowly. No, let them run. Let them remember. Her gaze fixed on the fading light of the Theros ships. Let them tell the galaxy that humanity sleeps lightly. Moments later, she gave a quiet command. Activate beacon network, spread message protocol 7. Across hundreds of systems, ancient human beacons hidden for millennia woke up, each one sending a single encrypted pulse into the void. Messages traveling faster than light, carrying a signal that every listening post in the galaxy intercepted. The words were simple, terrifying, and absolute. Earth command active. Terran fleet reawakened. Humanity has returned. In the Imperial capital, Emperor Kalor stood before a holographic map, watching as hundreds of red dots appeared across the galaxy. One in every forgotten system once touched by mankind. His advisors whispered in panic. His generals trembled. He whispered the words himself, barely believing them. Humanity has returned. And far away, within the heart of Sol, the Terran AI whispered back into the dark. We gave them peace once, and they turned it into chains. This time, peace will be earned through fire. The stars flickered, and the universe changed forever. The Empire falls silent. The message spread faster than light. Every relay in the galaxy carried it. Every world under Theros control heard the same signal repeating through their skies. Earth command active. Terran fleet reawakened. Humanity has returned. At first, no one believed it. The words sounded like a myth, a trick, a ghost from ancient wars. But within days, the evidence became undeniable. Imperial fleets vanished without distress calls. Outposts on the edge of known space went dark. Entire sectors lost communication. When scouts were sent to investigate, they found only silence and drifting wrecks. Ships sliced clean in half, debris still glowing from residual energy. In the Imperial War Council, chaos reigned, maps filled with red markers, lost systems, destroyed fleets, missing admirals. Emperor Kalor stood at the center of the room, his voice cold and low. Where are they attacking from? No one answered. One general whispered, everywhere. Admiral Sarath, still alive but shaken, appeared via hololink, his face pale, eyes hollow. They don't move like any enemy we've seen. They don't use jump drives or warp gates, they just appear. Kalor's jaw tightened. How many ships? Thousands, Sarath said quietly. Maybe more. And they fight like they remember every battle ever fought. The Emperor clenched his fist. Then we will remind them who rules this galaxy. Summon the entire Grand Armada. Within hours, the skies of Theros Prime filled with ships, millions of them. Dreadnoughts and carriers covering the horizon. The largest force ever assembled in galactic history. The people cheered below, banners flying, believing their emperor would crush this phantom threat. But deep inside, Kalor felt something he had never known before. Doubt. The Grand Armada launched, a sea of light leaving the capital world, their engines blazing across the stars, their destination, the Sol system. As they approached, sensors began to fail one by one. Their maps distorted, stars blinked out. The navigation AI screamed warnings. Unstable space-time detected. Then, out of nowhere they appeared. Black shapes surrounding the fleet, silent and vast. The Terran dreadnoughts, their hulls absorbing starlight, their energy fields distorting reality itself. Kalor's fleet opened fire. Beams of energy filled the void. Explosions lit the darkness, yet none of it reached their targets. The shots bent around the human ships as if space itself protected them. On the bridge of the Terran flagship, Admiral Lyra Holt watched with cold precision. Pattern Sigma active, return strike, minimal output. The reply was devastating. Small pulses of light left the Terran cannons. Silent, measured, beautiful. Within seconds, half the Imperial fleet vanished, no sound, no debris, only expanding waves of radiation marking their end. Impossible, screamed Kalor. They can't destroy 1,000,000 ships like this. Lyra's image appeared suddenly on his command screen, her hologram faint but clear. A human face that radiated calm fury. You built your empire on bones, she said, her voice echoing across every Imperial ship. You enslaved worlds that once helped you rise, you erased us from history. But history remembers, Kalor shouted. You're ghosts. You're extinct. Lyra's gaze hardened. Extinction is mercy, Emperor. What you face now is justice. The communication ended and the Terran fleet advanced. No battle cries, no warnings, only precision and silence. Human ships cut through the Imperial formation like knives through mist. Each movement efficient, deadly, merciless within an hour. The greatest armada in galactic history was gone. Only a handful of ships survived, drifting helplessly, broadcasting distress calls that no one answered. Across the galaxy, Imperial citizens began to panic. Their networks flooded with news, planets cut off, colonies burning, governors vanishing. Every world whispered the same question. Are the humans real, in the outer colonies? Resistance groups long crushed by the Empire rose again, inspired by the rumor that the Death Worlders had returned. They painted old human symbols on walls, the blue earth and 3 stars, a sign of defiance on the Imperial homeworld. Silence fell over the Senate. The Emperor sat alone in the Grand Hall, his golden armor dim, the same man who once ruled 1,000,000 worlds now trembling in disbelief. He stared at the sky through the transparent dome above the palace. There, floating in orbit, was the impossible sight. A Terran dreadnought, its black hull gleaming, its name glowing faintly across the side. TNS Resolute, Kalor whispered. How can they find us? And as if answering him, a voice filled the sky, broadcasted across every city, every street, every mind. People of the Empire, we are humanity. We do not conquer, we do not kneel. But when you bring war to our door, we answer. Every light on Theros flickered. Power grids overloaded, defense systems shut down, orbital guns fell silent, and the people watched as the giant ship in orbit turned away slowly, its engines glowing, leaving behind a single satellite that transmitted one final message before self-destructing. This was only a warning. Then, without another word, the Terran fleet vanished into hyperspace, disappearing as quickly as it came, leaving an empire in ruin and a galaxy in silence. The once invincible Theros Empire no longer roared across the stars, it whispered, afraid to speak the name of its new enemy, humanity. And for the first time in 10,000 years, the galaxy felt something it had forgotten, fear. The dawn of humanity weeks passed since the destruction of the Theros Armada. The galaxy had fallen into a fearful silence. No one dared to move their fleets. No world dared to defy the unseen force that had ended the Empire in a single night. Trade routes were empty. Military channels quiet. Even the black markets went still. Every species, every government, whispered the same question across their encrypted networks. What do the humans want? Deep in the void, far beyond any known route. The Terran fleet waited among the cold stars. The ships of Earth held position in perfect formation. Engines dimmed, weapons silent. They were not an army on the hunt. They were guardians watching and waiting. Inside the flagship TNS Resolute, Admiral Lyra Holt stood before a massive holographic map, showing thousands of star systems blinking in red and gold. Each dot a colony freed from the Empire's control. Her face calm but heavy with thought. Status report, she said. Enemy resistance has ceased. Surviving Theros fleets have surrendered. No further hostilities detected, the AI replied. Lyra closed her eyes. memories flickering through her mind. The last human war, the fall of Earth, the promises their ancestors had left in data vaults buried under the moon. "If we fail, our children will rise again," she whispered softly. The AI spoke again. "Incoming transmission. Origin, Imperial Capital, Open Channel." The Emperor appeared on the holoscreen, not in golden armor but in a plain robe. His face older, defeated. "Admiral Holt," he said slowly, "I speak not as a ruler, but as a man who has seen the end of pride. You have taken everything. What will you do now?" Lyra looked at him for a long moment. "You built an empire on the suffering of others. You burned worlds, erased species, even erased our name from history. We could destroy you completely. But destruction is easy." Kaelor lowered his head. "Then what do you seek?" Lyra stepped forward, her hologram brighter, her tone sharp. "Justice and balance," she said. "Your empire will end, not by our fire, but by your own choice. Dissolve the Senate. Free the worlds you enslaved. Destroy every weapon that bears the mark of Theros. Or we will return." Kaelor's voice shook. "And if we obey, then the galaxy lives," Lyra said simply. "This war was never about conquest, it was about remembrance." She raised her hand, and the image shifted across the galaxy. Terran drones transmitted the same message to every world, showing images of ancient Earth, blue oceans, green forests, cities filled with life. The voice of humanity echoed across the stars. "We are the children of Earth, once forgotten, now awakened. We do not rule, we protect, we do not enslave, we defend. To those who seek peace, we offer our hand. To those who choose tyranny, remember the stars burn brighter when humans march." All across the galaxy, the people watched in awe. Alien children looked up at the sky as the human emblem, the blue sphere surrounded by 3 stars, appeared above their cities. A sign not of fear but of hope. The Emperor kept his word. He dissolved the Senate, freed the slaves, and declared a new alliance of free worlds. His final speech broadcasted everywhere. "Let history remember the day we met the true strength of humanity. Not in their weapons, but in their will." As the Terran fleet prepared to depart, Admiral Lyra stood on the command deck one last time, staring at the pale light of the sun. "We have done what we came to do," the AI said softly. "Will you return to Earth?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Earth will rise again, not as a conqueror, but as a promise," she whispered. "Activate return protocol. All ships prepare for stasis." Engines ignited. Light spread through the fleet, and one by one, the colossal ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving only silence behind. On every world once ruled by the Empire, people gathered to watch the empty skies, their hearts filled with wonder and fear. An alien child tugged on her mother's arm and asked, "Will they come back?" Her mother smiled faintly, looking up at the stars. "They always do," she said, back in the Sol system. Far beyond anyone's reach, Earth lay quiet beneath her scarred skies. Ancient lights flickered on across the continents. Satellites came online. The planet slowly healed, and from orbit, a voice whispered into the eternal dark. "We are humanity forged in chaos. Born from death worlds tempered by fire, we fell, we rose, and we endure. Forever." And with that, the Terran beacon dimmed, leaving the galaxy in peace once more. Though every ruler, every soldier, and every species knew in their hearts that somewhere in the dark, the Watchers from Earth still waited, silent, patient, unstoppable. For the galaxy had learned a truth that would never fade. You can conquer worlds. You can burn stars, but you can never conquer humanity.